And welcome back into the sports arena. Ladies and gentlemen, that was mic drop moment with our girl, Miss Megan Price. Thank you, Megan. Shout out for this. Because I had to make sure I put this up there so everybody could see it. Yeah, that's right.
Love
Your
it.
boy was courtside when the Sky won the championship. That's right. I was right there. Yeah. Anyhow, so let's
And I
talk
love you,
about
Mike,
this.
but the whole world wondering what is Phoenix doing? Free agency is about to start. What are they doing?
So let's get into the WNBA and let's talk about the coaching changes that have happened. So first and foremost, yes, Becky Hammon. Shout out to John Shear, Megan Price, Mike Caratuno, and myself. We were all on the Zoom call today, listening to Becky speak with the president, Nikki Fargas, excuse me, just about the evolution, not only of the Las Vegas Aces, not only of Becky Hammon, but of the entire organization. And Megan, I'm gonna go right back to you with this. Your impression of Becky Hammon speaking to the media for the first time as the Las Vegas Aces new general manager and head coach.
I definitely felt like she was very appreciative. She sounded very determined and she sounded very happy. Like, I know there was a lot of criticism saying, like, oh, they wish she would have stayed in the NBA, been the first female head coach over there. But she seems really happy. And like I said earlier, like, she's going to be the general manager too. So if there was any question about what they were going to let her do as far as having creative control over her team, like, I think that answers all those questions right there. And I think that she has a great relationship with Nikki and Mark. To me, she sounds happy and ready for the challenge. Like, she knew what it was. Like, Nikki went ahead and said, like, we're in this to win this. And I think she's prepared for the job.
So, John Shear, you keep talking about the Washington Mystics and what they're going to do.
Yep.
So now let's focus on this for one moment and I'll even take the world champs out of the equation for a moment.
16-16 world champs.
Hey, John,
they weren't healthy.
John, when you get to the playoffs, what you did in the regular season doesn't matter. Okay. But now Becky Hammon comes in not only with knowledge of the game because she played, but coaching as well. Vicki Johnson, I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever get the opportunity to be in the presence of that woman, her energy just reverberates throughout the entire press conference room. I sat in the press conference room, and even after a loss, she was still speaking highly about the team and how they were going to evolve from this. So Dallas is up and coming. Sandy Brondello brings a leadership style that I think every young boy and girl need to emulate themselves and get behind, because Sandy Brondello works with your strengths and she brings that out of you. She believes in you more than you believe in yourself. And now she has Sabrina Ionescu, she has Benijah Laney, she has the rest of the New York Liberty to just mold them. John Shear, as much as I love Coach Mike for the Washington Mystics, I have to be honest with you. If y'all don't get Delle Donne a contract and put her in a position to succeed, the Washington Mystics are going to be I don't want to use this term, and I don't mean any negativity when I say it. They are not going to be a top tier team.
No, they live and die by her. Clearly, they
Hold
need her.
on.
I don't know about live and die by her.
I mean,
if a trade is coming in DC, well, Danny Thompson, since you know,
it's not whether she gets the contract; it's whether she's healthy enough to play.
No, but the league, there's so many talented teams, so many great teams in the league. They live and die by her. If they don't have her, you're not beating the Sky. You're not beating Phoenix. You're not beating all these teams without her. You're just not. You need her. You live and die by her. She's everything for you. And if you don't have her, you're not getting ultimately to where you want to go. And that's all that matters. I mean, yeah, you could say playoffs are great, but everybody wants to win that championship. And I just don't see it happening if you don't have her. So she's got to be there. She's got to be 100% healthy. They need her full go. That's the only way. That's the only shot that they have ultimately, because you got to have your best player. I mean, especially in a league like this where there's so many talented teams, so many great teams. You're not getting by unless you're at your best. And that's what the Sky did. I mean, that's what the Sky did. Second half of the season, they were at their best. 16 and 16, like you guys said, didn't matter. They were at their best when it mattered, and that's how they won the championship.
So, Mike, you're out there in Phoenix, man. Have you heard anything yet? Can you drop any knowledge on us about what the Mercury are hopefully intending to do? Because free agency is in 12 days. Okay.
Yes.
And I've seen all the articles. Sophie Cunningham might not be a Mercury next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Skylar, we know, is going to be there. Brittany Griner is going to be there. DT is going to be there. Outside of that, what do y'all have?
It's interesting because I put out there was one of the reporters was talking on it today, and I tweeted, I said, well, this just means that we're going to have the first player coach since Bill Russell. I said Diana Taurasi is going to be player coach. People like that, which I was, of course, you know me, Eric. I was just trying to stir it up. That's not happening. But I don't know. I just think, I mean, Megan, we touched on it last week too, how, maybe Sandy, obviously with her husband coaching and being closer. I mean, New York, going to the East Coast worked out for her. And again, you do inherit a young team. It's a pretty talented team. So I think it's interesting, but yeah, I mean, with free agency starting so close, I don't know. Maybe we get stuck in, I mean, with obviously, with the hiring in Vegas, I was just shaking my head earlier because, with the whole Bill Laimbeer thing, I'm like, maybe Bill Laimbeer gets recycled here. And definitely. I knew that would bring a smile and a laugh to Megan, Eric, but yeah, I definitely don't want Bill Laimbeer here. But again, I mean, he can coach. Vegas didn't play bad. It's not like Vegas ever seemed unprepared or played bad under him. But you're right. I mean, it's just in snooping around and just reaching out to people. I believe they have a direction. I'm just up in the air on what it is. But if Diana Taurasi became a player coach, I think that I should get credit for that. I don't know how, but I should get credit for that.
All right, fair enough. Let me go to Ray Lynn and Ty Rex. I want to speak to the other side of things. Let's talk off the court. Let's talk business. So, Ray Lynn, you and I, again, we've had several conversations about the WNBA and what needs to happen. So I'm going to ask you point blank. With what we've seen and bringing in Becky Hammon, I believe you called this the move that needed to happen. So now, what's next?
Hopefully good things for them. Even when you and I had our back and forth on Facebook and you said, I ain't hard to find, I'm with all the smoke. And you invited me on and we had our conversation. Obviously, I like to be prepared. So I was looking up the numbers. The viewership has increased over the past few years, right? For me personally, from 97 till now, it's still a long way to go, right? And everybody we live in this microwave generation where it's like, when we start talking about the pay and all that, it's like, we want it right now. And it's like, well, just keep trusting the process, right? Their brand is growing. It's probably not where they want it to be yet, but it is growing. I think more people need to follow suit. I mentioned in the last show, a person like Lisa Leslie is coaching in the Big Three. Get your marquee names, the names and faces that people recognize, the people who built this league up to at least what it is now, right? Those are the people you need back in the fold. The moment Candace Parker retires, somebody needs to offer her a job. Somebody needs to get Teresa Weatherspoon back over to the WNBA. Like, so Becky Hammon is the first name drop, right? And again, even the person who doesn't even watch the WNBA, they know her as the lady coach in the NBA, right? People don't know the other ones. They know Becky Hammon, Summer League champ, the whole nine, right? So I think that's a huge win for them. This is a win for the WNBA. Again, we spoke it into existence. We said Becky Hammon needs to be the one, right? And she came. And it'll really help if she has success. If she comes over and wins, right? That's going to shine a light on the league, right? So good for the WNBA that and she sacrificed. She had to. I don't know what the contract is. I don't think she's going to be making what she would have been making as the head assistant with the Spurs, right? So we talked about it. It happened. Now it's just a matter of, will others follow? I do think this will do a lot for their brand, for the game. I think it'll bring maybe some eyes over that may not have watched before because they're now familiar with her, right? So we'll see how it goes. But again, kudos to her for making that move. I said that's what needed to happen, and it did. So we'll see what happens from here. But I think that's definitely a move in the right direction to get Ray Lynn, like Becky Hammon.
Raylan, real quick too, I wanted to give you props because when you said that last week, I totally spaced it. I thought about it after we were done. It's exactly what the Mercury did when the league first started, because Cheryl Miller was her coach. People knew Cheryl Miller from obviously being, well, I mean, of her time, probably the best female basketball player of her time. But I look at what Cheryl Miller did and what the Mercury did with Cheryl Miller. And again, she wasn't just like, a celebrity coach is hanging out. And when you made that point, I thought about it last week. I'm like, that is so true. Because if you get I was with you last week. I don't understand why Lisa Leslie isn't a head coach. And yeah, if it comes down to the money, like you said, the big three, whatever. And Megan said, coaching the big three, coaching guys, stuff like that. But if you have your big names there, and yes, the me, you, and Eric we've talked about with the endorsements, Eric, and just the money, and that the NBA, they started another league and they should have been, again, it would make sense logically to be more financially supportive in the beginning, but Cheryl Miller was phenomenal here in Phoenix. I mean, those first 6-7 years, I mean, I got to interview her a few times too, even back when I was an intern, and it was the right personality to have, but it's an ex-player that had the respect too, to Raylan's point, from like Becky does from the men's side. So I think more casual fans, hopefully, and they should, like you say, Eric, should start watching more.
Yeah. So Tyre, let me get you into this real quick, sir, and then we're going to wrap it up here tonight on the Sports Arena, sir. Looking at the evolution of the WNBA. Now, to Raylan's point, 25 years, this organization was kind of the go-between between the offseason of one NBA season and the start of the next. But we have seen a huge spike in attendance, a huge spike in, we keep talking about it. And so as a casual fan, which I personally, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a casual fan that I think you are, what does this say to you about the league itself?
Well, first I want to say this about Cheryl Miller. Imagine people saying that Cynthia Cooper is the best basketball player, and the only thing you did when y'all on the same team is win 3 Naismith Players of the Year. But I mean, I'm just saying, people say she's the best, but when they were on the same team, Cheryl Miller was the one man, as we would say. But I mean, the WNBA is definitely going in the right direction. I agree with everything Raylan said. I mean, you have to try and get some of these big names. Up until 2 years ago, Cheryl Miller was coaching in college. You know what I mean? So 2019, she was coaching in some school in Cal. I don't know why she wasn't coaching in the NBA, the WNBA. I'm sorry, but I mean, you have to do things like that. Becky Hammon is a good move because I mean, like Raylan said, you got people that may not necessarily watch WNBA basketball, but they know who Becky Hammon is. And I mean, I still think she could be the first woman coach in the NBA. I mean, who's to say she won't do a couple of years in the WNBA, 3 to 4 years, get the Aces a championship and then scoot to the NBA. It's possible it could happen. I don't think nobody would be upset at her if she did. So, I mean, I think it's definitely going in the right direction, man. I mean, it's going great. And then the talent that they have in college is amazing. I know I think South Carolina just lost. I want to say South Carolina just lost their first game. But, I mean, it's just going amazing. They got a young lady from Wilmington, North Carolina that plays on South Carolina. She's a freshman, but be on the lookout for her.
And shout out to Anthony Brown, who's chiming in here with us tonight, saying that Lisa is an owner. She is part owner of the LA Sparks. So, I mean, there is something that could potentially happen. I mean, Megan, you have said in not so many politically correct terms that you would wish Derek Fisher the best, just wish him the best somewhere else. I'll leave it at that.
Please
get him out the league expeditiously.
Get him out of my city. But you know what? He hasn't been that bad. Like, we just weren't healthy last year. Christy Tolliver was injured. Nikki Gumake was injured. Her sister was injured. Like, we were injured all last year. In the 2 years that he's had a healthy team, we had winning records. We made the playoffs. So he's not doing too bad. But I can't take much more of last year.
Okay, but he's also the reason y'all don't have CP3 anymore.
Yeah,
biggest loss there. That says it all right there.
All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close it out here tonight on the Sports Arena. We did go into overtime, but that's what we do. A huge shout out to Sports Reporter Without Pay, Ray Lynn, for joining us. For Tyre, make sure you check him out. Say it again tomorrow evening. John Shear, make sure you check him out tomorrow night. Sideline Sports Network. Believe in the Pac-12. Mike Caratunito doing all things on all levels. Our Queen of Hoops, Miss Megan Price, covering the Dallas Wings as well as everything WNBA. Your man, Eric Wilson, Much love to everybody. We will be back on Wednesday night talking, I'm sure, more about everything. Until then, have a great night. Peace.